Pumasok ka? Mukhang gulat si Rose. 9:09 ng umaga. Bakit hindi? Marami akong pending eh. Ani at bali walang nilapag ang bag sa mesa. Akala ko kasi may exams ka this week eh. Next week pa. Sagot niya at binuksan na ang computer. Tumalikod siya sa babae para hindi na siya kwentuhin ito. But Rose was persistent. Nagsalita pa rin ito. Okay ka na? Anito. I'm fine. Maikli niyang sagot. Bigla siya napalingon nang may narinig na ingay sa entrance ng opisina. Atticus walked in the Elise. This time nakasummer dress ng babae na may blue and white floral prints. She was wearing flats din. Kamukha nga nito si Donita Rose. Slimmer, curvier Donita Rose. Ang puti nito parang never dinapuan ng lambok sa talambuhay. She was clutching a doll sa shoulder bag at nakipag-usap ito kay Matthew at isa pang engineer sa hindi kalayuan. Hindi niya maulinigan ang pinag-uusapan ng mga ito. Sinikap niyang wag maligaw ang tingin sa mga ito. All her efforts were worthless though, dahil sa gilid ng mga mata niya ay nakita niyang papalapit si Atticus at si Elise sa kanyang pwesto. She strived to look busy. Tumikim si Atticus. Leah? Anito na parang nabulol pa. Leah looked up at him. Yes, sir? Aniya sa mababang tinig. Hello? Napakaganda ng ngiti ni Elise. Siguro kung sa plada ito madaling kainisan. Naisip ni Leah. But the woman exuded goodness. Mistulang wala ito ni isang mean bone sa katawan. She spoke with an accent, her voice well modulated. Hello po. Magalang iyang bati sa bati nito. Ngumitiran siya. Hindi lamang siya sigurado kung kasing genuine iyon ang ngiti ni Donita Rose. Elise, this is Leah. She is one of the smartest assistants we've ever had. Leah, this is Elise. Atticus said. I've heard about you. Nakangiting sabi ni Leah at tinanggap ang nakalahad na palad ni Elise. It's nice to meet you po, Anya. She supposed Elise was only being polite, but it was really nice to meet the woman. It was hard but it was understandable why any man would choose this woman over anyone else, over her. She swallowed a lump in her throat. Tumaas ang kilay ni Elise kay Atticus. You have been talking about me. I hope hindi niya ako sinisiraan sa'yo, Leah. Sosyal patitawan ito. Hindi naman po, sagot niya. Napansin niyang Atticus was looking distinctly uncomfortable. Buti nga. So let me show you the plans we've drawn up for your mom's gallery. I'm sure marami pang gagawin sa Leah kaysa makipagchismisan sa atin. Sabad ng binata, holding Elise's elbow. Okay, Leah, it was nice meeting you. See you later. Mahinhing paalam ng babae. Ngumiti lang siya bilang paalam. Ayaw man ay nakita niyang inalayan ng lalaki ang babae, paakyat ng alcove. Buti na lang wala mga tao sa baba ng hagdan kung hindi, mabobosohan ang precious fiancé ni Atticus. Bumalik siya sa pagtitig sa computer. Nang umangat ang mukha ay napansin nakatitig si Rose sa kanya. Leah ignored her. Isang linggo ang nakalipas nang muling makita ni Leah si Atticus. Nagbakasyon daw ito kasamang ama't si Elise sa Palawan, kung kaya nawala ng ganoong katagal. Nagngat-ngat man ng selos ay pilit pinatatag ni Leah ang kanyang sarili. She had work to do, school classes to attend. Pinilit niya mag-focus at pag-isipin ang nangyari. Nang tanghaling iyon nasa showroom siya at iniimis na nagkalat ng mga coffee cups at presentation materials sa conference table. The door to the foyer opened and in came Atticus. Nag-iisa ito. He looked a little tanned, refreshed. She wanted to run to him. Hi, bati nito. Sumulyap lamang siya rito at pinagpatuloy ang paglilipat ng mga kalat. You shouldn't be doing that. Maintenance is supposed to clean up. Salita pa ulit ni Atticus. Both of his hands were inside his khaki pants pocket. Leah shrugged. May ginagawa pa sila. Mag-uumpisa ng meeting ng Sir Owen with the lawyers dito mamaya. Formal ang tinig niya. Walang halong emosyon. Hindi siya tumitingin sa binata. Pasensya ka na ha? Hindi na kita nababalitaan lately. He ventured. That is the understatement of the year. Isip ni Leah. Mukha na siyang matawa pero pinigil niya. A ballpen she would pick up dropped to the floor. Yumuko siya para kunin yun pero naunahan siya ni Atticus. Inabot ito ang ballpen sa kanya pero tumayo siya kaagad at lumibot sa kabila ng mesa. Sinamsam niyang naipong gamit at dali-daling humakbang patungo sa pinto. Atticus was quick. Nahawakan itong braso niya bago siya nakalayo. Leah, please don't be angry at me. Bakit naman ako magagalit? She said in an even tone. Her face full of the hurt she dared not express. Hindi mo ko kinakausap. Hindi mo ko tinitingnan. What am I supposed to do for you to forgive me? Ano ba sa tingin mo ang kasalanan mo? Mahinang tanong niya, looking at her shoes. Hindi ko sinabi dahil I did not mean for anything to happen in the first place. You are just one of our employees and, well, you're right. I am just one of your employees. What's the big deal? It's not like anything's changed. Huwag kang mag-alala. Hindi ako magiging liability sa iyo in any way. Go on as before. God, she hated sounding so pathetic. Yung nagpapaawa, nagpapakamartir, but she could not help it. She had to say something, or sasabog siya sa matinding hinanakit na alam niyang wala siyang karapatang isatinig. God, I didn't mean it that way. Leah, please understand. Ani Ate Kus. Understand? Ang alin? Na pinagmukha mo akong tanga? Na all this time there was Elise and she had been there. Oh, for God's sake, tigilan na natin to. Walang kwenta tong pinag-uusapan natin eh. Just leave me be. Utang na loob. Kung may pagpapahalaga ka pa sa akin bilang kakilala, bilang empleyado niyo dito sa kumpanyang ito, you will just leave me alone. That's the best thing you can do. Leah, please, please Ate Kus, go away. Binawin niyang braso at mabilis na umalis sa kwartong iyon. Kahit tinatamad pumasok, pinilit ni Leah ang sariling bumangon at maligo. She had to go to school. Hindi niya ugaling umabsent. Katwiran niya, sayang pagpapakapagod niyang pagsabay ng pag-aaral at trabaho kung mamimiss siya ng classes at mapapabayaan ng pag-aaral. She could not lose focus now, especially when she is near her goal. Dumaan ng ilang klaseng bagyo sa buhay nila. Ang pagkamatay ng papa niya, ang pagkakasakit ng Auntie Lily, her grandparents passing away, Alphon leaving her. She had weathered all that and grown so much. A man like Atticus, whom she had only known for half a year, could not topple her. That was what she kept on telling herself. Ano lang ba yun? A few kisses, a couple of text messages. Wala lang yun. These days, it did not always mean a thing. Walang ibang dapat sisihin kundi siya. Ang laki ng bilib niya sa sarili kung kaya ang dali niyang mauto. Sa kabila niyon, kahit nagtagumpay siyang wag ipahalata ang totoong nararamdaman sa pamilya, inside she was crumbling. She felt alternately miserable and angry. It was a job to wake up and get up from her bed. But as before, she knew immersing herself in work and schoolwork was a good panacea. Ayaw niyang pagbigyan ng pagkakataon ng sarili na magdwell masyado sa nararamdaman. To wallow meant to indulge in endless cycle of self-pity. Ayaw na niyang bumalik sa ganoong sitwasyon. Ngayon, more than ever, nahangad niyang sana'y may best friend siyang pwede niyang mapagsabihan ng lahat. Nangihinayang siyang hindi niya nakahiligan na makipaglapit sa mga kapwa babae. Ang tanging niyang kausap ay ang mga tao sa bahay. There were days when she was strong and back to her old self before she knew Atticus. Then suddenly she would see a place they had passed by. A chair he had sat on. Isang gamit sa opisina o sa bahay na hinawakan ni Atticus, and she felt this sharp pang. During the day, she managed to function, with the thought of Atticus getting married to someone else fading into the background like a dull ache. Pilit niyang hindi iniisip para maggawa niyang trabaho. Nakabisa may nabasa para sa klase. Masagot ang simpleng tanong ng mga tao sa paligid. Kumain ka na? San ka bababa, miss? Is Engineer Adolfo in? Anong araw na ba ngayon? Handa na bang quarterly budget report? Napaliguan na ba si Bella? At night, in the privacy of her room, away from prying eyes and endless questions of people that seemed to tire her, she could let herself go. Ayaw man niyang umiyak, hindi niya mapigilan. She missed Atticus terribly. Sa trabaho, Leah did not allow herself to pick up at the gallery para masilayan ang pamilya ng pinto ng opisina nito. She would not allow her gaze to wander over to where his car was parked in its usual spot tuwing dumadaan siya sa parking lot ng building. She did not allow herself to think of him during the day, but at night, she could not stop the tears from falling. She missed him like hell. Ang pagtawag nito sa kanya ng Leah, na kung tutuusin ay katulog ng Biblia, pero para sa panilig ni Leah ay may espesyal na lambing dahil si Atticus lamang tumatawag niyon sa kanya. Ang habit itong pagpisil sa kanyang pisngi o paghagod sa kanyang likuran. Ang halik nito, ang boses, ang mga text at tawag, ang biglang pagsulpot ito sa desk niya at odd hours of the day sa opisina. It was all she could do not to call him, to text to ask how he was doing. It was all she could do not to cry, like a baby, to her mama Vivian. Siya lang ang tanga. Siya ang nag-assume kaya dapat sarili niyang pait na dulot ng maling niyang akala. She knew she would eventually get over him, just as she got over Isaac. Ang iba ngayon ay kung dati, Isaac really hurt her because of his cold and selfish personality. She knew Atticus was the opposite. He was warm, he was kind-hearted, and she could not accept the fact na nakaya niya itong saktan nang ganon-ganon na lang. Pero sa tuwing maiisip niya kung bakit, she had to concede defeat. Sina Ate Cos at Elise ang bagay. She was a fool to believe there could be anything more than a weird friendship between her and Ate Cos. Kahit si Rose napansin ang kakaiba niyang katahimikan, hindi na siya nito masyadong kinukulit o tinutudsyo. Pero isang araw naglakas daw itong magsalita. Lia, sorry ha. Masyadong private si Sir Ate Cos eh. Di ko talaga natunugan na may fiancé na pala siya. Alam mo, mabait yun. At matsika na ako matsika. Nagbibiro at nagkakantsawan. But his personal life, wala akong access talaga. Nakita mo naman kahit na mga kasamahan niya arkitekto, hindi kilala sa Elise. Kung alam ko lang, hindi kita biniyo dun eh. Ang buong akala ko talaga, matinuyang si Sir Ate Cos. Parang altar boy eh. Nakikisimpa siya nitong anas na makasabay niya ito sa washroom. Hula ni Lia ay sinadya nitong makasabay siya roon dahil lagi siya nagkukunwaring busy at hindi naririnig ang attempts nitong makipag-usap kapag nasa work area sila. Hindi rin siya sumasabay sa lunch at break hours. Rose, hindi ka dapat nagsasorry. Malumanay niyang sagot. Hindi eh, nagigilty ako. Kung ano na kasing pinagsasabi ko sa'yo ng first day. Dapat kasi nag-research muna ako, especially na makita kong napapalapit ka na sa kanya. Kahit naman kumalat yung bulong-bulungan sa office about sa inyo, dinedefend ko pa kayong dalawa eh. Wala kasi ako nakikitang special treatment, work-wise sa'yo mula kay boss. If you don't include the frequent visits na kung tutuusin eh, baliwala lang din. Pakiramdam ko kasi naging pabaya ako sa'yo, knowing na bata ka ba at Lia. Okay ka lang ba? Patuloy nito. Mukhang guilty talaga ang babae. It's not your fault. Hindi mo ko responsibilidad. At isa pa kahit anong sabihin ng ibang tao, desisyon ko pa rin kung anong gagawin ko. I am fine. Pero ano yung sinasabi mong bulong-bulungan? Tanong niya. Parang atubili pang magsalita ito. Kasi napansin lang nila malambing sa'yo si Sir Ate Cos na parang ikaw na lang ang lagi napapansin. Malisyosa na din kasi kami dito. Sa konti namin tayo-tayo lang din na nagkakatsismisan. Pero wala naman kayong pinapakitang kakaiba. Kaya wala silang maibato sa inyo. Natahimik siya. As before, naging oblivious siya sa kapaligiran. Hindi niya naisip na pwedeng mahalatangan ng iba ang pakikitungo ni Ate Cos sa kanya. Nagpatuloy ito. Kahit na ayaw kong malis ka dito, kung sa palagay mo mas makakabuti yun sa'yo, hindi kita pipigilan. Hinawakan nito ang balikat niya. Sympathy in her eyes. Nabasa ko resignation letter na dinadraft mo sa PC mo nung tumayo ka at kumuha ka ng tubig. Hindi mo na ilak ang PC mo. I'm sorry for being a snoop pero hindi ko sinadyang mabasa eh. Tumango lang siya. I'll just wait out the semester. Saka ako magde-decide kung anong gagawin. Hindi rin ako pwedeng basta-basta magdesisyon. I promise I will let you know. Kung ano man yun, basta ikaw lang muna makakaalam ha? Inakbayan siya ng babae. Ang pretty mo kasi at mukhang nene ng daling paamuin. Kung afford ko lang mawalan trabaho, makakatikim sa akin si Boss Ate Cos eh. Hindi ko talaga akalaing may gagawin siyang ganito kasama sa kabila ng kabaitan niya. Thank you, Rose. Tanging nasabi niya. Agad na siyang lumayo at lumabas ng restroom. Natatakot siyang mag-breakdown sa harap nito. She had done that before, sa dating pinapasukan, and she regretted it. She could not afford emotional displays in the workplace. Hey, sweetie, you look so far away. Is there anything wrong? Pukaw ni Elise kay Ate Cos. They were strolling together sa Greenbelt matapos lumuna ng misa sa Ayala Chapel. They were holding hands and Elise was telling a story. Nang paakyat na sila sa escalator, napukaw ang atensyon ni Ate Cos na makita ang isang babaeng pababa ng escalator, talking animatedly to her friend. His heart pounded with excitement sa pag-aakalang si Lia iyon. She wore her hair the same way. Was Lia's height and her voice reminded her of Lia's. Pero ibang tao pala yun, hindi si Lia. Napagtanto niya nang mapalapit siya rito at malagpasan ito sa escalator. He felt an incredible sense of loss. Guiltily, he kissed Elise's hand. Sorry, I was thinking about something. What did you say? Aniya. Sa halip na sumagot, tinitigan siya ng mata ni Elise. She had an unnerving way of staring at a person and correctly discerning that person's feelings. It was one of her ways. Ate Cos looked away and fumbled for something to say. Ate Cos, you seem different. What happened while I was away? Elise asked in her characteristic gentle way of prying. Anong different? Well, I worked out, so I probably look buffed up to you. Ani ang nakangiti. Hey, do you want to get ice cream? I think I saw Häagen-Dazs on the way up. We passed it already, Ate Cos. Ani Elise. Besides, I'm on a diet. Ang taba-taba ko na nga eh. She delicately patted her flat tummy. Ate Cos said she was entirely too thin these days. Leah would have been excited to get ice cream. He did not think he would ever heard Leah utter the word diet the entire time he had known her. Tuwi na game ito sa mga ideya niya. Si Elise ay isang prinsesa na kailangan ingatan, alagaan. She was smart and funny, yes, but in a highbrow way. Iba ang gusto nitong gawin. Museum trips, ballet performances. Walang masama doon, and Atticus enjoyed them every once in a while. But once in a while too, all he wanted was to let loose and put his feet up, talk and play video games. He thought he was just a typical dude. Napakaswerte niya kung ang isang tulad ni Elise sa makakatuluyan niya. Gentle manners, intelihente, accomplished, galing sa isang buena familia. Her classy breeding showed in the tasteful white sleeveless Chanel dress she wore, every strand of her hair in place, the subtle scent of her Burberry perfume, the expensive but discreet diamond stud she wore on her ears, every movement of her graceful neck, the measured way she spoke, her impeccable manners. Lahat ng magagandang katangian na pwedeng mahiling ng isang lalaki sa isang mapapangasawa ay nasa katauhan ni Elise. And yet he felt as if he was making a big mistake. Ang engagement dinner nila ay kinagabihan na, but he felt so torn, helpless kung ano ang gagawin. He had never felt like such a coward before then. Hinayaan niyang tangay na yamang siya ng Agos. His brothers called, happy and congratulating him. Lilipad pa uwi ang kanyang mama next week. He had known Elise since she was 10. They move in each other's worlds. Hindi ba literal lang na sila magkatuluyan in the end? Atticus, what is it? Atticus looked at Leah, so immaculate in the moonlight, and saw only Leah's face as she looked nang paluto niya ito. When he kissed her sa lanay, her heavy-lidded eyes looking at him, like they had never found any sight as lovely as him. He put his head on his hands. Elise, Elise, you are so... I am such an idiot. Nakaupo siya sa labas ng hotel ballroom. His tie askew. Is it the girl in the office? The one who gave you the funny sweater? Tahimik na tanong nito. Atticus looked up again, shocked. Elise. Pero hindi niya maituloy-tuloy ang sasabihin. Well, I'm not such an idiot. Have you forgotten how smart I am? But her smile was sad and a little wistful. She put her hands on her lap primly, staring out at the darkness. I guess I was a little arrogant and conceited. Para isipin na after 2 years, you'd still be feeling the same way. Yun kasi ang pagkakakilala ko sa'yo, Atticus. Even when we were kids, you kept your promises. I made you wait and I thought I'm worth the wait. And then day by day, after my excitement at seeing you again wore off, napansin ko ang kaibahan mo. I discovered you weren't as excited as I am to see you. Na hindi na ikaw ang dating Atticus sa laging nakanganga sa lahat ng sasabihin ko. Nasusunod sa lahat ng maisipan kong gawin. Elise, no, I was just... Shh. She touched her finger to his lips to silence him. It is definitely not me because I am way too divine for anyone to resist. Unless one already has set his heart on someone else. And you seemed like to have done so. So after that, nag-observe pa ako. And I noticed the girl in the office. The one in the corner. The one you were always stealing glances at. Atticus smiled. He did not know what to say. He should have known something like this would not escape Elise. She had always been an excellent judge of character. It was one of the things about her that mesmerized him. She sometimes laughed too loud and it had a funny sound after. Butas-butas sa mga pambahay niya. But she is smart. She goes to law school and very dedicated. She sends herself to school. Her father passed away before she finished high school. She has a dog named Portia and she licks her fingers when she eats, kahit nakakutsara. She is very funny kapag at ease but outwardly, she is shy, tahimik. She cares deeply about people. She loves her brother and sisters to pieces even when they fought all the time. Maingay sa bahay nila pero maraming pagkain at maraming tao pag uwi mo. She is fierce when she is angry, but she forgives ever so easily. And she cries at the same movies she watched 1,000 times. She sounds lovely. Nakangiting komento ni Elise nang huminto siya. She caught his hand in hers and smiled at him. You are so perfect. For years, I did not think any other woman could ever compare to you. But I kept picking women who seemed to like you. Intelligent, driven, maganda, the works. Ang totoo, hindi naman nila maaagaw ang atensyon ko dahil nakaset na sa isip ko na you will always eclipse them in every way. So none of my past relationships survived after 2-3 months. Then Leah, she was all the things I had not met for a while. With her, I can be myself. At the same time, she has made me feel like whatever I'm doing is okay, that I'm brilliant, although wala siyang sinasabi to flatter me. She just took everything for granted, and I felt like stopping after years of going after people's expectations of me. Sa kanya, parang naramdaman ko okay na ako. I am set and I am good, you know? And I miss her when I don't see her. And yet this past few weeks, natatakot akong harapin ulit siya because of the damage that I've done. I shouldn't be the one reading you this. You know? Nakatingin si Elise sa kababata. Elise, I am so sorry for being such an idiot. I should have told you, told someone. Well, we can all be stupid at one time or another. Ang importante maitama mong dapat itama and pray that you are not too late. It's the choices we make every day that shapes our lives. So be careful about what you choose. Sabi pa ng dalaga. Ma, si Kuya Atikos ata yun oh. Kotse niya yan, hindi ba? Si Jaden, habang binibilang ang baong iniabot ng ina. Umangat ang ulo ng ginang mula sa patas na condensed milk na pinupunasan. 8:00 noon ng umaga. Aba, kay Atikos nga yan. Kumpirma ng ginang na makitang pulang Ford 150 sa kalsada. Bumaba ng sasakyan ng binata at tinumbok ang tindahan. Binati nito si Jaden na pagkuway umalis na papuntang school. Mama Vivian, sorry ho sa abala. Si Leah ho? Tanong ni Atikos. Andun at hindi pa bumabangon. Masama daw ang pakiramdam eh. Akala ko tumawag na sa opisina nyo. Batang din talaga, oo. Yes, she called in sick. My secretary told me. Okay lang po bang kausapin, Mama? Nakiuusap ang mga mata niya. Nagtataka man ay tumango si Mama Vivian. Aba, di sige, pumasok ka na lang. Ando naman si Mama Lily mo. May problema ba, Atikos? Wala naman po, pero gusto ko lang pong i-check si Ria. I'm worried about her. She is never sick. Kung sa bagay, tama ka. Sige, pumanhin ka na lang. Nag-breakfast ka na ba? Nakahain pa din kami. May pritong danggit at sinangag sa loob. Sabayan mo na lang si Ria kung gusto mo. Okay po, thank you Mama. Yun lamang at pumasok ng binata sa kabahayan. There was no one in the living room nang pumasok si Atikos, but somebody seemed to have the washing machine out, back in full swing. Sumasabay pa sa gramophone playing some music from the 60s, sa drone ng washing machine. Tanaw niya ang breakfast things ng pamilya sa dining table sa kusina, pero dumiretso siya sa hagdan. Leah's door was slightly ajar, so he knocked lightly. She was lying on her side, in the bed, facing the windows. Yakap-yakap nito ang giant hotdog pillow. Can I come in? Ani Atikos. Biglang bumalikwas si Leah, wide-eyed. What are you doing here? Gulat na tanong nito. Hindi pa ako nagtutoothbrush. She must have realized how stupid she sounded dahil bigla itong tumigil. She instead grabbed a huge pillow and hugged it against her. Anong klaseng amo ka? Bakit bigla kang pumapasok sa kwarto ng mga empleyada mo? Rose told me you called in sick. Are you okay? Yes. No. Did you have to come all the way here para lang siguraduhin na hindi ako nagsisinungaling? Ang mga empleyada mo? Leah, stop that. Iritadong sigaw ni Atikos. I just wanna know if you're okay. Well, eto ako. Buhay pa. Ngayon? I wanna say sorry. Please. Leah held up both of her hands. Stop saying sorry. I'm sick and tired of hearing you say sorry. It is annoying as hell. Nahiga siya at muling nagtalakbong ng kumot. Atikos could see was Betty Boop's scrunched up face on the double bed. Nagulat ang binata na mapansing umuuga ng kaunti ang Betty Boop lamp. Then he realized Leah was crying underneath the comforter. Leah, no, don't cry. Tinuluhan niya ang dalaga sa higaan nito. He gingerly felt around to touch a place na hindi siya makakahawak ng kung ano. It's a good thing he'd left the door open. Leah, patawarin mo ko. I did not mean to hurt you. Hindi ko intensyong paabutin sa ganito. I didn't know what I was doing. You were so fun to be with and Stop explaining. You are just making it worse. Anang boses mula sa pinto. Startled, Atikos looked to see Ella standing by the door. From the depths of the Betty comforter came Leah's muffled voice. Get lost, Ella. Ano bang masama sa sinabi ko? Totoo yun. Confused na tanong ni Atikos na kay Ella na ngayon nakatingin. Ella rolled her eyes at him. Fun to be with? I didn't know what I was doing. Why don't you just tell her na meantime, libangan mo lang siya? Na isa siyang nakakalon intermission in between the main acts. I am not saying that. I like your sister Ella. I like you. You're her family. I will live in this house if you would let me and I would pay rent. I love Mama Vivian and Mama Lily. I love your life and I'm so sorry na ito pang nagawa ko. I just want Leah to forgive me. You're just another guy who played a little bit while the girlfriend was away. Iling-iling na sambit ni Ella. Shut up, Ella. Lumabas ka nga rito. Bakit mo ba kinakausap ang unggoy na yan? Muling sabat ni Leah sa ilalim ng kumot. Leah, get out from under there. Talk to me. Baling ni ate ko sa dalaga. Good luck. Huling saad ni Ella bago tutuduyang umalis. Sinara nito ang pinto from behind her, which bewildered Atticus, but only a little. Dahil si Leah na ulit ang inatupag niya. Hindi mas itong inaakalang kinaroroonan ng likod ng dalaga. Leah, please don't cry. It's my fault, I know. But please, huwag ka na magalit sa akin. Anong gusto mong gawin ko? Matuwa ako sa'yo? And would you please stop doing that? May kiliti ako sa tuhod. Leah finally resurfaced from beneath the covers, eyes wet and nose red from crying. Atiko took his face on her hands. Poor baby, parasahan mo na ako. Anything, just please don't hate me forever. Leah almost closed her eyes. He was so near and he was wiping her tears with his hands and he was rubbing her shoulders, her back. She could smell him, feel his warmth and it felt so good to be near him again. Inalo siya nitong parang bata. He was his usual sweet, caring self. Tinulak niya ito palayo. Tama ka na nga, Atticus. Sawang-sawa na ako sa mga arte mo. Ayaw na kitang makita. Umalis ka na. Atticus looked hurt but he did not budge. I won't even leave until you forgive me. Gagawin ko lahat ng sasabihin mo. Saktan mo ako, tadyakan mo ako. Shut up! Shut up! Stop this! Kahit ano pang sabihin mo, it's not gonna make any difference. Akala mo ba kapag pinarusahan kita, mababawasan ang sakit na nararamdaman ko? Akala mo ba ganun lang kadali yun? Umalis ka na. Leah, I broke the engagement off with Elise. He said quietly. Natigilan siya. Napos ang pag-emote. Ano ka mo? I told her that I just don't love her the way I'm supposed to love someone I want to marry. It is just different now. Noon nakala ko she was made for me and that she is the perfect girl. We were so used to the idea na kami magkakasama habang buhay that I did not even think to question if I really loved her. I loved her. In my youth siguro. An ideal pero I grew up. I changed and you came along. You tantrumy, shy little firebrand you. You're everything I have never had before in my life and I cannot do without you. I want to be with you always. Leah could not seem to process what she was hearing. Lahat ng narinig niya magaganda, pero parang hindi yun ma-process ng utak niya. What was this beautiful man saying? Na mahal siya nito? Waring nabasa ni Atticus ang tanong sa isip niya. Leah, I am in love with you. I think I fell in love with you the moment you made me lemonade. Yes, that is the time. When you quite naturally did manual labor for me. When you could have just poured something from a bottle or something. You did it without thinking. It came so natural to you and it suddenly clicked in my mind. Here is a woman who would do something for me because she is like that. The kind who does things for someone else. Who would love me and care for me always, without thinking. Ginawan ko din ng lemonade si Isaac noon. Sabad niya, I am sure you did that because that's who you are. And I want that every day of my life. I have been thinking this past few weeks, ikaw ang gusto ko, Leah. But your parents, ikaw na nga ang gusto ko eh. Biglang bumukas ang pinto. Niluwano yun si Ella at ang Mama Lily. Atticus and Leah both jumped. Wag mo nang kontrahin. Iiyak-iyak ka tapos itong ikaw nang pinipili, papakipot ka pa. Anak tatandang babae. Atticus laughingly turned back to Leah. Paano yan? Wala kang kakampi. Ako marami. Leah pummeled his chest. Nakakainis ka. Nakakainis ka. Pinabayaan mo akong malungkot. Di mo sinabi sa akin ang tagal-tagal bago ka nagbalik. I hate you. I know. I'm sorry but I had to take a step back to think clearly. Hindi ko gustong mag-suffer ka or anything. I wanted to be clear on everything before facing you again. Forgive me, Leah, please. Atticus drew her to her chest and kissed the top of her head. They heard the door closing and Ella saying, Loving na yan. Tara na, auntie. Leah and Atticus laughed again. So, do you love me? Have I cured you of your man-hating tendencies? Atticus asked after a while. Suminghot-singhot pa muna siya bago sumagot. Here. Inabutan siya ni Atticus ng hanky mula sa bulsa nito. It smelled of him. Thank you, Leah. I love you, Ate Kos. Ano? Hindi ko naintindihan. I love you, Ate Kos. I love you nga. Nanunuksong sabi pa nito. Alright, that will do. We'll say to each other over and over again every day. I promise you that at balang araw ikakasal tayo sa pinakasikat na simbahan sa buong bansa. At ibibigay ko sa ang pinaka-ingranding kasal sa abot na makakaya ko. Alam kong ayaw mo ng ganon pero Leah, I want to give you the best. Hayaan mo kung i-spoiled ka, pati na rin ang magiging anak natin. Basta ipangako mo lang sa akin na mahal mo ko. Yun lamang ang nais ko mula sa'yo. Mahal na mahal kita, Leah. Ngumiti naman ng matamis si Leah bilang tugon sa mga sinabi ng binata. Ate Kos took her face in her hands and kissed her waiting lips. At dito na po nagtatapos ang simpleng pag-iibigan ni Leah at Ate Kos. Hanggang sa muli. Salamat po!